Cologne, first crack in the Rhine armor, lies before onrushing tank elements of the First Army. In a desperate defense of the Cathedral city, streetcars are used as roadblocks, but fail to stop the tanks which simply haul them along. So rapid is the tank advance that German strong points are overrun before effective resistance can be offered. 2 years of ceaseless bombings have reduced Cologne, Germany's fourth largest city, to a heap of rubble. A fleeing Nazi car doesn't get far. From now on, it's a street and sniping fight, and a careless Superman gets his. A German tank is within range. It's a direct hit, and the crew doesn't hang around long. Germany's pride, as well as her men, were dealt mortal wounds at Cologne. One of the finest tributes to Allied era marksmanship is the great dome cathedral, spared in a city which was virtually leveled. Thousands of Cologne's defenders were trapped before they could flee across the Rhine, and countless vehicles were blasted to bits, while retreating Nazis barely had time to destroy the famous Hohenzollern Bridge, Cologne's last link with the East Bank. Cologne is an example of the deadly results of Allied saturation bombing. But already the American Chamber of Commerce is here. Apparently the inhabitants take the sign literally and stream back into the wrecked city. But even the lightning Yanks haven't restored streetcar service yet. Signal Corps pictures show graphically the miracle of Cologne. The survival of one of Europe's most magnificent buildings in a Holocaust which engulfed a city of 750,000 persons. South of Cologne at Remagen, our troops made one of the most spectacular coups of the war in capturing the Ludendorff Bridge intact minutes before the Germans were to blow it up. Prisoners streamed back as our men crossed the Rhine to establish our first bridgehead on the east bank of the river. Enemy planes come over and anti-aircraft fights them off. The capture of the bridge saved a costly crossing by assault boats and served our needs well until, weakened by the heavy traffic and bomb hits, it collapsed. As spearheads rolled into the inner citadel of Germany, dry feet were by courtesy of the 9th Armored Division. Men and supplies pour out of the East Bank in a leap that caught the Germans by complete surprise and trapped thousands of prisoners. The Rhine crossing at Remagen was the signal for a general breakthrough of our armies across the Rhine. The defenses of Fortress Germany are crumbling fast. United States delegates to the United Nations Security Conference meet with President Roosevelt in Washington. Left to right are Congressman Bloom, Dean Gildersleeve, Senator Connally. Chairman of the delegation, Stettinius, Commander Stassen, Senator Vandenberg, Congressman Eaton. "39 peace-loving nations will meet in San Francisco beginning April 25th to prepare a security charter based on the Dumbarton Oaks proposals and the Yalta supplement. San Francisco's famous hotels, now overflowing with a wartime population, face a major housing problem with 3,000 visitors trying to occupy 2,300 rooms. The city's magnificent civic center will set the stage for this, one of the world's most fateful meetings. Veterans' War Memorial buildings will house the parleys. Back in Washington, the U.S. delegation meets to form preliminary plans for their part in the organization of a World Security Council and an International Court of Justice. Only member absent is Cordell Hull, senior advisor. Conference aims are stated by Secretary Statinius.
The San Francisco Conference will have the great responsibility of preparing a charter for a world organization for peace and security. That will be its only job. It will not be a peace conference like the conference at Versailles to settle boundaries and fix reparations. The San Francisco Conference of all the United Nations will have before it the proposals drawn up at Dumbarton Oaks in Washington by the representatives of Great Britain, the Soviet Union, the Chinese, and the United States governments. These proposals have now been before the peoples of the world for their full and free discussion for almost half a year. I am confident that the goal of a world security organization is now within our grasp.
On April 1st, we will start a nationwide collection of 150 million pounds of used clothing to be sent to the millions of destitute war victims in China, Europe, and wherever the enemy has struck. Millions are homeless and without clothing, shoes, or bedding. Deaths from exposure among these men, women, and children equal deaths from starvation. In your home you will find good used clothing, shoes, and bedding that you and your family can spare. Children's clothing is especially needed. Start now to gather your clothing gifts. Your local clothing collection committee will announce the method of collection. Remember the date, April 1st to 30th, and don't forget, what can you spare that they can wear?